Okay.
Only Opsigma co-seed be here, otherwise ठीक है.
Are you audible?
लाइव कर दिया
Around the sleep.
इसे लग रहा है ना कॉलेज में रेडी वाली
तो अभी रिकॉर्ड करना पड़ेगा. Yeah, I'm gonna set up. Just let it be on. Just let it be on.
Very good evening to everyone present here. It is an honor to welcome you all to the National Operations Summit at Trade Waste Management. In the world of supply chain, small links create vast networks, transforming chaos into a seamless flow. I would like to call upon the stage of Sigma, the Supply Chain Operations Authority Delhi, who will guide us through the impactful session and the thought-provoking discussions on what we are lined up for today. So, calling for the JCC of Sigma to take over the stage.
Good evening, everyone. We are Team Opsigma, the Operation and Supply Chain Club of IIFT Delhi. It is a dynamic and student-driven body dedicated to fostering excellence in the fields of operations, supply chain management, and logistics. Comprising a diverse group of passionate and forward-thinking individuals, Opsigma serves as a vibrant hub for students who are interested in intricacies of managing the flow of goods and services in today's global business landscape. Opsigma plays a pivotal role in preparing IIFT students for successful careers in operations and supply chain management. We, the club coordinators of Opsigma, are extremely pleased to have you all here for the 2024 edition of the National Operations Summit. As you all know, the third edition of Trade Wings is themed as the Great Reset, catalyzing digital growth of the 21st century. As the technological landscape changes quickly, it becomes clear that there will always be a need for a complete digitalization. The Great Reset opens up an opportunity for the acceleration of various industries into the digital growth paradigm. Now, this calls for a strategic realignment, creativity, and next generation technological deployment in order to achieve the better economy. In line with this agenda, our summit intends to multimedia platforms for sparking impactful dialogue and facilitating transfer of ideas and insights. Our summit strives to bring the spotlight on building the resilient supply chain in post-pandemic and geopolitically uncertain world. To enlighten us on the topic at hand, we are honored to have with us a panel of esteemed industry leaders who have been part of the emerging Indian industry and bring with them immense experience and valuable wisdom in the vast range of topics. We extend a warm welcome to all the panel members. So now, firstly, we have Mr. Tankeswar, currently working as the head of supply chain at Signify. Sir is a consultant supply chain management professional with 25 plus years of experience in supply chain and operations. He is currently leading the supply chain operation in Asia, Western Asia Pacific, Middle Eastern, and African regions for Signify. That is formerly known as the Philippines. Mr. Vishal has worked for patents like PepsiCo, MC, J&J, and Colgate Palmolive, among other things, which is a testament to his agile and dynamic disposition in the ever-changing industry. He has worked in different industries, including but not limited to fast-moving consumer goods, but also like food and beverages industry, industrial equipment, and healthcare industry. He is at the helm of innovation and innovative applications as he is building many digital capabilities in the Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa regions. It is my great pleasure to invite Mr. Tankeswar to the stage. Please give him a big round of applause. Now we have Mr. Vishal Tiwari, currently working as business head at Balaji Vipul. Sir has worked extensively on supply chain optimization through the adoption and implementation of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and digital enablement of supply chain processes. Mr. Tiwari has expertise in supply chain strategy and transformation, cost reduction, manufacturing excellence, and customer experiences. He has consulted at clients across FMCG, metals, chemicals, capital goods, textile, automotive, and ground energy services. It is my next pleasure to invite Mr. Tiwari to the stage. Please give your round.
I mean, listening up.
Now next we have Mr. Jaydeep, currently working as Vice President of the Supply Chain at the Bharat. Sir is a seasoned supply chain professional with over 20 years of experience in optimizing and managing supply chain and warehousing operations. He has visited certain FMCG giants like Marico, Cracket, to automotive industries segments like Tankeswar and Bhushan. At Tankeswar, he is studying the digitalization movement for which he has been awarded the Supply Chain Digitalization Champion in 2016. He has also been awarded the Supply Chain Diversity and Inclusion Advocate 2023, Indian Achievers Award 2023, and Outstanding Supply Chain Leader of 2026. As a veteran in the field, he has done the innovation in his previous company, where through supply chain network optimization practices, he was able to decrease the number of warehouses from more than 150 to 78 only. His drive for innovation and change has always reflected in his professional career and his zeal for sharing his knowledge even greater. It is my great pleasure to invite Mr. Jaydeep to the stage. Please give your background.
Upscaling. मैं चेंज कर दूँ ऐसे लेफ्ट राइट
मजा आ रहा है क्या?
Thank you so much, sir. Now we have Mr. Bharat Bhushan, currently working as head of distribution and logistics at Market PHARMA. Sir brings over 17 years of extensive experience in supply chain management, logistics, and distribution sector various industries. Currently as the head of distribution and logistics, Sir has been pivotal in operating operations and driving cost efficiency. Sir has previously worked with leading organizations such as Baishya, Luminance, and State. An alumnus of IIFT, Sir combines strategic expertise with a deep understanding of supply chain and dynamics, further enhanced by multiple specialized courses from IIM Mukherjee. It's a pleasure to invite Mr. Bharat Bhushan to the stage. Please it is looking pleasant. We would like to present. Now we have Mr. Vipul of our currently working as head of planning at Kohler. Sir has experience of over 16 years planning across various domains of supply chain management of pharmaceutical and consumer goods industry. He has this experience in different domains of supply chain like procurement, logistics, planning, etc. Last year, he has transitioned to the role of head of planning for Kohler Southeast Asia after leading the logistics and distribution functions for the same. He has been recently awarded Transformational Supply Chain Leader by ISCM Forum and was also conferred as Logistics Leader of the Year in 2022. It's a pleasure to invite Mr. Vipul on the stage. Presentation will take. We are excited to launch Operations 2024, the annual guidance of Opsigma. This year's edition is about building resilient supply chain, post-pandemic, and geopolitically uncertain. The magazine features insightful angles from our plus four editors and showcases the winning entries from Operations 2024. It is a national article rating competition. Through in-depth articles, we explore key trends such as digital transformation, supply chain sustainability, and geopolitical implications. The magazine not only provides valuable knowledge but also serves as thought-provoking guide for businesses striving to build agile, resilient, and future-ready supply chains. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to invite our esteemed panelists to officially launch Operation 2024.
हमारे 1963 पे भी अभी पोस्ट आया था, मतलब ट्रेलर्स के कुछ भी कमेंट आया था, पागल इंस्टीट्यूट को क्या कितना छोटा पेमेंट डिलीट किया वो कमेंट भी।
Now we have Mr. Tiwari currently working at Operations Management. There is a professional web in digital service audit space for 6 years and has been at the helm of companies like Swiggy, Tiwari, and Intel. Due to the diverse set of companies, he has great experience in facilitating last mile virtual logistics for agritech, food delivery, and e-commerce and such software. Mr. Kothari is also an alum of IIFT from Bachelor 2018 and further adding to his pursuit of excellence. He also consulted the Student Excellence Program. He is joining us today as a moderator for today's panel discussion. I would now like to invite our our esteemed alumnus and our moderator for today's Mr. Kothari, to lead us into the exciting and insightful discussion. Sir, the stage is yours.
Good evening, everyone. Well, gives me immense pleasure to see so many students at IIFT taking interest in operations. Like during my time, I could there are very few of us who were into operations. But yes, so now the world has really changed and into this world of like 10-minute deliveries. I don't know what will come next. Maybe you just think about something and the person would be available at your door, ready to deliver the goods. So that's the topic for today, the great reset, building resilient supply chains in post-pandemic and geopolitical uncertain world. So ready to enjoy the discussion? So sir, we would like to hear the opening words from each of you. So if you can start with Vishal sir over here.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this initiative of yours. And well, the great reset, I think that sounds a bit heavy. Quick thoughts. Uh, the two things basically. No fix is permanent, and resilience is very contextual. So there's no one size fits all. We have to understand the environment we are in, the geography we are in, the industry we are in, and accordingly we have to develop resilience. And obviously, neither the disruption is permanent nor the solutions that we are doing now would be permanent. So yeah, it's not permanent, and we have to continuously keep on evolving. That's
Thank you, Vishal. Hello, everyone. And very big thank you, to IIFT for inviting me to be here and share my thoughts on this topic. Yes, I think reset probably is is part of our life, right? We also in our personal life as well, we do reset that time to time that whatever has happened now has happened. Maybe now we start afresh. And similarly, organizations keep doing it by the way because because you see an organization going up, and then suddenly there are challenges. Then they say, okay, 2, 3 years they're not delivering. So, okay, we take a reset here, do all the corrections, then again, again go. I think the topic here now is okay, reset here, right? I mean, post-pandemic. Yeah, post-pandemic, I think one after the other, if you see over the last 5 years, I think we have seen quite a few big issues globally. And what has actually made all the big organizations to actually rethink their way of operation, their network, the way they do business, their operating models, etc. And some of these large organizations which were until recently were focusing more on centralization, right? Like to bring in efficiency, like global factories, for example. No, we don't want to produce across the world. We want to concentrate manufacturing maybe at one part of the world where we get a lot of efficiency, like with labor is cheap, maybe with raw materials are available, everything, and you do that, right? And then again, distribution as well. So similarly, again, there are companies who are actually very, very concentrated in terms of their distribution in certain parts of the world that do not want to have across all the but then they are rethinking because this whole 5 years, first starting from COVID, then subsequent to that this issue of ocean freight going up, you know, then there is this Suez Canal issue where this evergreen vessel got stuck for almost for a month and now that creating disruption. Now this Suez Canal, sorry, this recent issue of Houthis attacking all the vessels on the way, right? All these have actually kind of created a lot of disruption and also make the companies to rethink, how should we really be, designed and in such a way that we are able to come out of all these disruptions very quickly or able to anticipate them or do not even have any kind of all these disruptions do not create any kind of business stoppages in our. So that's I would say is the biggest reset that people have started thinking. Maybe before I speak about what companies are doing, etc., I would like to hand it over to Jaydeep to kind of share his first thoughts.
Thank you so much, Tankeswar, and thanks to IIFT for inviting me for this question. Thanks a lot. Now, just getting into the topic, so it's a huge topic. When you say reset, you keep on resetting, organizations due to external things, internal things. But when you are talking about the current disruptions, which we have seen in the post-pandemic era, I think with the pandemic it started, and we have seen a number of disruptions, and it's still going on. You know very well. Actually, we have one after start, the new war has started. As well as I'm not thinking that's going to stop very soon. So that's not a very great thing to think, but it looks like. So with all these things, we just completely every organization has started thinking after the pandemic, how to secure their supply chains. And when I say secure their supply chains, I'm talking about end to end. It starts from the sourcing and through the distribution to the customer. And at the end of the day, the thought process is finally how you can still meet the customer needs to the best extent possible with all the disruption happening. And that work doesn't start with the finished goods, that starts from the backwards, from your materials coming in, the R&D and PM and everything. So the multiple sources of supplies, these being your most important probably in terms of the raw materials, PMs. So these are thoughts which every organization has been thinking and actioning today. So delayering the risks, in terms of manufacturing, probably manufacturing things at multiple locations, so that they can mitigate the risk in case of something happens in specific locations. So as you were saying that concentration of manufacturing at a single place, people have thought about decentralizing or we call even where it's possible near showing them coming close to the place of doing business. It's not always possible, this has to be a viability. But these are the thoughts which have come across and every organization is working towards it so that they keep on mitigating the risk to the extent possible in case of further disruptions arises. And it is for globally, it's very important. It's not that easy. You have to undergo global disruption to manage everything very well, but you can still keep on looking at multiple sources and other things. For local disruptions, I think you can plan better because you know your country, your thing well. You know probably can estimate better what things can happen. You can preempt. You can be better prepared in terms of addressing those risks. So we will of course talk a lot more as we move into the session. Just give it to Bharat for these thoughts.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Good evening, all. Before starting any gyan, I just want to add that after 7 years, I am with students, and it's really gave me goosebumps. Whenever I'm putting up there, and whenever there is such going on, such event going on, and because of coordinator pressure and because of those 5 marks I need to attend these, otherwise I never enjoyed these things. So I really like that guy who is just making this event resilient by just having earpods in his eyes and just sleeping, and he's so damn good in this. Good morning, good morning. So just to make this lighter, no hard feelings. Okay. See, what is supply chain here? Supply chain is just common sense. It's nothing else. Just like he's applying it, and your coordinator applied it because it's so many chairs. So they bifurcated the students so that it's something that we can still scroll our eyes, and then it's okay that there are some boys in here. So supply chain is just common sense and nothing else. And in your whole career, you are applying this common sense by sheer experience. There are books, there are fundas, and we all want that whatever we have been told, it should be implemented. And if you are successful in implementing 20-25%, you are through. You will build the world-class supply chain in only those 25%. So you need not to have a Pankaj Demawat's all strategy book that wo patla sa ek, you are having that Pankaj Demawat's strategy book, value of that kind. Okay. See, now the issue is before pandemic, we also have these disruptions. Okay, so there is always there is one manufacturing unit in Hyderabad, and then there is some tower yatra going on. So you need to find the ways when we have this national highway closure, then how we can plan better so that there should not be any business continuity risk kind of thing. And post pandemic also risk remains the same. Obviously, if pandemic no one can predict, and this is once in a lifetime scenario. And after those pandemics, I think everybody's discussing about one plus source. Everybody's discussing about it's okay if we can have more than 10%, 5% budget, but we need to have business continuity parameters going on. But after 4 years, we are again moving to zero because then there is still cost pressures, there is still why to waste in supply chain. So it's not your decision, it's the time which is making decision right or wrong. Okay? And every time, every moment, you need to have those decisions intact. And believe me, nothing is wrong, nothing is right. Probably I I have certain decision in certain company, in my certain assignment, probably that goes wrong. But I am applying in other company in my other assignment, that's go right. So you continuously keep on evolving your thing. Probably it's auto, some guys are taking it's forecasting accuracy, some guys are taking it with automations, with artificial intelligence. Yes, everything is there, and there is a whole lot of team you need to engage those things. But just yes, ultimately what is important is how you are analyzing the problem and situation and comes out of that. So this is I think to start with.
Thanks, Bharat, and thanks all of you for inviting me to this forum. I mean, like Bharat said, it just reminds me of my these school days. So I think it's been a while, and it's more like a deja vu for me. So I used to be somewhere sitting in the corner where I'm least visible. So and come up with a piece of paper that my the panelists will talk about something and gain something, and then I'll throw that piece of paper somewhere and forget. So that's a typical tendency. How many of you are actually keen in making your career in supply chain? I mean, it looks it's okay. So I don't know how the first year students are raising their hands because, to be honest, I never had that sort of clarity, and supply chain was an accident, not by choice. But yeah, it's okay. So So I think supply chain is an interesting subject, So and you guys today wanted to discuss about resiliency in supply chain because this is the buzzword. Everybody talked about post-pandemic because we saw during pandemic what happened the day Mukherjee announced that there would be a lockdown. All of us were rushing to the nearby store and buying whatever is possible, and all shelves were empty. So these were the disruptions we were talking about supply chain. Those days I was in a pharmaceutical company. We were selling insulin, so people were panicking that if there is a longer lockdown, how do I get the constant supply of insulin because it's a chronic therapy, So people were buying in panic, and whatever we had kept in our inventories for say 3 months, 2 months, got liquidated in just 1 day or 2 days itself. And then we were like, how do we now get more stuff? Because it was a panic buying. So these kind of scenarios will keep coming. Was the way Bharat said, could we predict something like COVID-19? No. So it was a black swan. It isn't a gray rhino where you can still predict your risk. So when we talk about resilience in supply chain, so how do you define resilience? An ability to preempt a risk, and how do you solve that risk? Right? Very simple. It sounds so simple. So, but can you predict a black swan? Then, if you can actually predict a black swan, then it's actually not a black swan, right? So you just can't. So what you can do as a supply chain professional is, if not black swan, but then there are other possible risks which in your day-to-day work you typically ignore. What are those possible risks? It could be, let's take some examples. I come from pharmaceutical. I spent more than a decade in pharmaceuticals. I have many such examples. There it's more about the quality standard of the drug, right? So if there is some issue with the quality, or if there is some regulatory change, so there is a regulatory risk. There is a quality risk. Today, Indian government keeps coming up with a list of medicines which are categorized under essential drugs. Where they reduce and put a ceiling price. If tomorrow your blockbuster drug goes into that, what happens? So one option is I ignore. Second option is I preempt. Say 6 months down the line, 6 years down the line. If that happens, then how do I react? Am I ready for such kind of an event or not? So that's a possible risk for which you prepare yourself today. You talk about, we all have heard about Maggie, what happened to Maggie, it was a reputational risk, all that happened with Nestle, So again, had they thought about it? I don't think so, but like in pharma I talked about, typically there is a tendency that you preempt your regulatory risk, you preempt your reputational risk, and then have some sort of mitigation plan around it. That's a basic common sense which should be there, or which should help, which typically helps in building your resilience in supply chain. So that's a general gap. So, how did organizations like us reacted, when all that black swan event happens in terms of COVID? The first reaction was, okay, I don't know today, and my government has opened the lockdown for 1 month, 2 months. Let's pile up inventories. So we all piled up inventories for a few months. Like, we don't know tomorrow COVID cases start going up again. How do we handle? So inventory piling up, or the buffers is just one an inefficient way of reducing your risk. Is this the right answer? No. But is this one of the answer? Yes. Right. So there are different ways the way you can actually have some sort of resilience. Like Jyoti talked about, local for local sort of, having a near shoring sort of. If I'm getting something from, say, China today or from Europe or somewhere else, there could be today we have Indo-Canada issue, so tomorrow it could be with someone else. There's a Red Sea issue, there are, we had Swiss Canal issue, many such issues. If you look at today's auto industry, they have all the entire ecosystem is around, and they don't have all such issues for their supply chain. But is this an efficient way for a smaller sort of business? Maybe no.